It is the 22nd of August, 2025. Thank you for being with me, and thank you for being part of this weather community and taking the time to subscribe. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. We are tracking Hurricane Erin, still technically a hurricane. In this video, I want to show you some of the winds that will bring us in parts of Europe and show you the rain outlook as we work our way into next week, all tied to the remnants of Erin and the expanding wave heights in this, those big swells that are going to move in. We'll cover all of that in this video. Now, right now, here's the Atlantic region of Canada. Still a hurricane, but it is transitioning into a subtropical system. It is losing its tropical characteristics. It's getting caught up in the westerlies, and that'll work its way toward Western Europe. With that said, there is this spin up here. This is very critical for the forecast because that spin is just to the northeast of Erin. That is going to allow this to kind of draw a little bit closer to Iceland as we work our way down the road. So Iceland, I'll be watching us as we go forward for that chance of some of the additional rain, some of the additional wind as we work down the road. Now here's the outlook. Here it is as we go throughout the day today. Here's Erin transitioning into that subtropical system. So it loses its tropical characteristics. And then because of that spin to the north, and I'll show you that in just a second, that additional spin, instead of kind of working its way, say, right toward Ireland or even over toward France, that spin helps to draw it a little bit more to the north, closer to Iceland. But with that, it does kind of get hung up Monday into Tuesday. So as we work our way back toward Ireland and the UK, some of us are going to get some gustier winds, watching out for some coastal issues and the possibility of some additional rain. A lot of us need the rain across much of Europe, not necessarily say northern Italy, where we're going to have some bigger thunderstorms next week, but it will at least bring a better chance of rain, a slightly higher chance of rain for the bank holiday, for example, Tuesday into Wednesday. So I'll zoom down to that in just a moment. Now we swing back toward the Atlantic region of Canada here. Here's Greenland, here's Iceland, and you see everything in good agreement, keeping this back through the North Atlantic. Then it kind of gets hung up near Iceland as we work our way into early next week, but then the leftovers of it could eventually move closer to Ireland and the UK with that better chance of some rain. Now, as far as the strength goes, of course, it's losing its tropical characteristics. So this is a day out, 2 days out, 3 days out. So we expect some of that weakening, but still generally tropical storm force winds hanging in this for really the long term through the weekend into next week. And that is going to keep those seas really elevated and give some of us some of those higher winds. Parts of, say, Iceland over toward Northern Ireland, Scotland will see a better chance of some gusty winds down the road, but it's not moving directly in. So here it is. Let me show you the big picture, and then I want to zoom down over toward the UK and Ireland, and you can see the other little spin out ahead of it. That's the one that helps kind of draw it to the north. I don't just look at the models, I look at everything that's going on in the environment. So here's that area, there's that spin to the north, and it helps kind of pivot this, kind of working its way around. As we work our way into Sunday, this area of low pressure up here, but this one, these are the remnants of Erin right through here. Large wind field where you're seeing the white shading, those are some gusts of 50 miles per hour, 80 kilometers an hour. The red shading, those would be gusts around 70 miles per hour or 105 to about 110 kilometers an hour. Then by Monday, you see how it kind of lifts up toward Iceland. At that point, we're going to see some of the coastal issues, very high seas, southern coast of Iceland, watching Scotland south for those very high seas, in particular Ireland as we work our way Sunday into Monday. And then you see it loses the red shadings in this, but still a lot of white. So right along the coast, we're going to have some of the winds gusting to about 35, maybe about 45, 50 miles per hour. I'll zoom down to that in just a second. Even southern sections of Iceland. And then by the time we get into Wednesday, that's when this area, the remnants of Erin, just kind of work their way through. At that point, it really kind of gets absorbed into everything else out there in the atmosphere, in the environment. Here's the closer look. This here is Monday, okay? Sunday into Monday. Here's the center of what is left of Erin. And you could see the winds. Here's Ireland, and you could see the winds gusting to about 50 right along the coast. Inland, not nearly as much. So big difference. But there's the center of this. Look what happens kind of lifting up toward the northeast, but it's not moving much. You see how it barely moved into Tuesday, so that onshore flow is going to continue to give us problems. Scotland, Northern Ireland for some of those higher seas and gusty winds at times. And then you can see this area just kind of sitting there even on Wednesday, and that'll brush us by with at least some breezy conditions, no doubt, kind of a gusty, a little bit squally as we work our way into the early and middle portions of next week. Now let's get a look at the rain element out of this. So here it is now. Here's Hurricane Erin. Here's that other spin that is back to the northeast of it. That will help kind of steer and help draw Erin a bit to the north, but then there's not a lot of steering down the road. So that's why Monday into Tuesday just kind of hangs around. There's nothing really to kick it out. Now let's go out in time here. There's that initial spin, and then it's kind of like follow the leader, and this kind of works its way back toward the north. This is by Sunday, watching our time frame as we get into Sunday afternoon, and you can see it kind of shooting up toward the northeast. But then after Sunday, because this spin kind of really weakens, there's not a lot of steering. So you see Monday, it's just kind of hanging out. Some of the rain bands trying to work into parts of Iceland. And then we could see even some far outer rain bands brushing by Ireland and the UK as we work our way Monday into Tuesday. This here's by Tuesday. There it is. Again, weakening at this point. I'll show you those seas in a moment. Those are going to be crazy though. And then by Wednesday, we'll actually get a better chance of some spillover showers. Once it all kind of falls apart on Wednesday, that's actually when we could see some showers. And by the way, next week, we do need to monitor some bigger storms possible. Parts of Switzerland, Northern Ireland, Austria, Czechia, Hungary. There could be some bigger storms as we work our way into next week, some severe. So giving you that heads up, still keeping an eye on everyone across Europe. Of course, this is the major player as of now. So as we work our way into Monday morning, you see the center of it here, the far outer rain bands, just with that strong onshore flow, that is no doubt going to bring in a couple of those showers at times, kind of the gusty showers every now and then, not all the time, but every now and then. There's the center deeper into Monday night, and you see how it doesn't move much as we work our way into Tuesday, just kind of sitting there, and then you still see some of those spotty showers. Scotland will be watching that, but on Wednesday, once the system just kind of falls apart, gets absorbed by everything else, that's when it could at least enhance the chance of rain, say as we work our way back toward Wales, over toward England. Not to say all of us are going to get some rain, but it just kind of enhances that. Amsterdam, Brussels, watching over toward, even over toward, say we get over toward parts of Paris, France, we could see a better chance of some scattered showers working in as we work our way into a Wednesday night and Thursday. But look how high these seas are. Here's meters at the right-hand side, or bottom of your screen, right-hand side, that is feet. Doing my best to keep everyone covered. Huge swells moving in. That's why I mentioned those coastal issues. Here's Iceland. Get over toward Ireland right here. Huge swells. We'll be seeing that for days and days. Offshore waters, incredibly dangerous. Near shore waters, very dangerous as well. This is all the way into Tuesday, and it stays a mess all the way into Wednesday. So we're going to see those higher seas. And watching that as well, Portugal, Spain, France, those swells working in that I know some surfers are excited about, but some of those swells that will be working in, very dangerous if you have any interest in and along the water as we really go forward as this moves in. So this one is Erin, about to become a subtropical system, lose its tropical characteristics. The next name on the list in the Atlantic Basin for the hurricane season is Fernand. That is the pronunciation of that. As we go out in time, August, September, October, November, again, we're in the peak of the hurricane season, and it lasts for a few months, and we need to watch out for those up and around systems like Erin that could bring us those remnants. Here's Africa. If the area of high pressure is not really strong, that allows things to kind of spin around into the direction of Europe. That is what I'll be tracking for you as we go over months ahead. So tracking Hurricane Erin, the remnants of that, the wind field gets closer. I mentioned the gusty winds, the timing on that, and even watching out for some of those rain bands that will try to work in high and dangerous seas. And I did mention that heads up. Other parts of Europe watching out for some stronger to severe storms as we work our way into next week. So lots to cover. So thank you for sharing this information and being part of this weather community, taking the time to subscribe. Have a good weekend ahead.